Let's be real, we've all seen her. The girl with the green juice, the perfect morning routine, always put together. She's trending, she's aesthetic, she's that girl. And maybe for a moment you tried to be her. But here's the thing, chasing someone else's idea, it's exhausting. What if I told you there's a better way? One that starts with knowing your body, honoring your boundaries, and embracing your personal truth. This here isn't about becoming that girl. It's about evolving into that woman. The one who moves with purpose, nourishes herself with intention, and uses her cycle as a source of strength. Ready? Usually around this time, I tend to recreate myself. Let's talk how you can transform from that girl to that woman in all of these areas. I've heard another YouTuber talk about this topic as well, and she said something that I really liked, because she said,
So the first thing I'm going to talk about is appearance. Now it may seem kind of shallow, like, well, that's what we're going to start with, but there's no denying how important it is how you present in the world and how you feel about yourself.
let's be honest, how occupied are all of us with looks? Whole industries are made out of us wanting to look good, so I think looks is really not that shallow, as she said. Just as we are obsessed with how we look, just as obsessed we are with going to the gym, getting all these classes, going to Pilates or whatever. When I refer to it, you won't get the usual advice just like, yeah, stay consistent. Because yeah, obviously you need to stay consistent in a way, but what does consistency even mean? How can we phrase consistency, and what isn't thought? I think there's more to it, because it's really reminding me of back then when I just turned 20 or something. I was all about being really consistent, always hitting the gym, sometimes even going twice a day to the gym. But as I stepped into womanhood and as I grew up and older, I figured that all these obsession with staying consistent and going to the gym every day, doing a workout every day, just isn't suiting my body. And this is where I want to say, have a fitness routine. It's so important to move your body, especially right now, especially when you are in your 20s. It's important to also go and do the strength training. Your bones will thank you later. Still, I think we need to stop obsessing over these everyday workouts and rather say, how can I move my body every day, but without it needing to be the gym? Due to your hormones that are changing throughout the cycle, your energy is as well. So how would you expect from yourself to perform same every day? It's just not realistic, and actually it's even the opposite. It's even hurting your goals, because if you want to look good, you want to stay fit and all these things, you need to balance your hormones as well, because a lot of these issues we might experience, whether it's bloating, whether it's water retention, whether it's even belly fat, can stem from hormonal disbalances. This is why I stopped doing HIIT workouts just to do them, because I rather focus on what's really good for my body. I stay consistent with a routine that watches over my individual needs. I just can't go around and stick to a routine that someone on the internet came up with and expect that it will work for me, because you know what? That woman is also aware of her cycle. What goes quite well along those lines is obviously also nutrition. Back then, I would say I had a rule book. And you know, my rule book was, again, that girl. Like, eat low carb, don't eat after 6, eat high protein, best when you eat vegan. Oh, and no gluten, okay? We don't eat gluten. But why? I'm not even sensitive to it. Like, it doesn't make sense. And it was so hard for me. I mean, I was really so hard into all of these rules that I even fried my eggs on water. Like, I mean, this ain't even possible. But still, I did it because I didn't know what my body truly wanted, and I was relying on someone to dictate rules over health and over what's good for me, instead of, again, listening to what my body needs and what's good for my body. Because who could know better than yourself? Like, you are the blueprint. You are the guide. You are the guide. You need to listen to what your body needs. For me, it was like when I shifted to back from rules, more to being intuitive, being connected with myself, knowing in what cycle phase I'm also in and everything. I just knew what my body wanted. I mean, fuel your body, nourish it, and just give your body the best. But don't be so occupied with that it has to be a certain way, because in reality, our hormones change. We cannot stick to the same rules again all the time. Because, for example, when I'm right before my days, my energy I need to take in is higher. I burn more energy just by doing nothing. It's just because our body is built this way. So no wonder that I have more appetite, that I have more hunger, because my body actually needs the extra energy, needs the extra food. I think adapting your nutrition to your cycle is really a thing that woman should be doing, because you can ultimately enhance your whole well-being. Your whole experience of life changes when you adapt your nutrition to your cycle, because every cycle phase needs something different. So your body basically needs every few days something different. You will not only feel better, you also get rid of all these symptoms society told us that are normal to have, like period cramps, being bloated. It's not normal, and don't let anyone tell you that it's normal, because it just isn't. So when I started adapting my nutrition to my cycle, I actually replaced healthy with nutritious. Today I know it's not about the rules. Health isn't a label anymore. Health is rather something that is a combination of these nutritious foods, balancing my blood sugar, but still here and there having my types of treats. I want to come to another topic that I've learned to let go of. I used to be bloated real bad. And back then, all I wanted was to get rid of this bloating. Like, I just wanted to get rid of what was bothering me at that time. And I was willing to do every and anything for it. So I even had something that was called Lefax. And this Lefax, it was like a powder, like a granulate or something, that I just kept taking in order for my bloating to go away. But I've never really gotten to the root cause back then, and I didn't even care. It was never mind, I just want to get rid of it. But turning into that woman is also taking accountability for your life, for your health, for yourself. So basically what I want to tell you is, when you want to become that woman, then also think about what is the root cause of things. Because we can put all the plasters on our symptoms, whether it's something mental, whether it's a physical thing like the bloating, but it won't go away just by putting a plaster on it, right? So I think it's so important to go deeper, because otherwise you will just be confronted with it every time again. And I think this is the most frustrating thing when this happens, because you always feel like you're like just pushed back, because you always confront the same problem again and again and again and again, when in reality you could just get to the root cause and then get rid of it for good. Speaking about healing, I also want to come to another point, and this is, you could say mental healing, but I would put it or phrase it rather as your boundaries and intuition. Because again, taking it back to the cycle, there are phases in our cycle where we naturally are just more drawn inwards, where we are just not that social, I would say. I mean, every woman experiences this different, but I can speak for myself. I definitely have these phases, even though I'm a really outgoing, extroverted person. But still I have these phases where I'm really like, I just don't want to do it. And everything smells so intense, and people are just too much, and I really can't keep up with bullshit at that time. And what I learned becoming that woman is keeping my peace, because back then I was all about people pleasing, about, yeah, I have to do it, and if I don't do it, what will they think of me? I don't want to be rude, I don't want to hurt nobody. What I cultivated for myself is to ask myself, what is my motivation behind saying yes to certain things? What drives me? Is it the fear of being rejected? And if so, then act grown. I mean, it's completely okay to have these feelings, but I think it's something we really need to outgrow, because I just can't imagine like being a grown woman and not being able to say no. Like, how would you manage later on your family, your personal life, your career and everything if you cannot say no? It's something completely normal, and every one of us needs to say no at times, unfortunately, even though we don't want to hurt people, we don't want to let them down, we don't want to disappoint them. But I'm truly asking myself, what is my motivation behind what I'm doing right now? Is it just the fear to be rejected, to be abandoned, or do I do it from heart? Because I think growing up means being able to be authentically and unapologetically yourself. And when I say this, I don't mean that we don't have to double check ourselves, because tough love, I think social media made us buy into the culture of I'm so good just the way I am and I deserve all of it. And I don't say that you aren't worth the good things in life, that you aren't worth the healthy relationship, that you aren't worth the career path that you want to go, good and real friends. But we have to really be honest with ourselves, because here's the thing, we grown from small girls into women, right? So sometimes we also need to level up our behavior. It's not always the others that are wrong. Sometimes it's yourself. I think growing into that woman requires being that honest, having that depth and kind of honesty with yourself that you can say, oh, well, yeah, actually this time it was about me. Coming from a people pleaser, someone that was really insecure and always looked for the fault in myself, I know it can be tricky to balance this. Sometimes I tend to think I'm always wanting the best and that I didn't even notice, I'm basically having like a little victim mentality there and thinking I am the good one, but I ain't holy. So I really need to check myself. Yeah, the last thing, last but not least, everything ties back to it. I've mentioned it multiple times, it's the menstrual cycle. So for me, getting to know my cycle was really like, this was my entry into womanhood. This was my entrance into basically becoming her, building her. Because the menstrual cycle was a mystery to me. Actually, I thought there were just two phases, like menstruation and the rest. But when I noticed and recognized and learned about how fascinating our menstrual cycle is, and that it's not even just a burden that we have to deal with, getting to know my cycle was equating getting to know myself. I know myself now, and this is why I can treat myself better, why I can treat myself with more compassion. And this is why I'm saying I can be that honest with myself, like regarding the mindset point, because I've get to know myself. And when you know who you are, you can also be honest about what's not good about you and still be respectful towards yourself. Basically, getting to know my cycle, it may sound exaggerated, but this allowed me for super big confidence. Like, it sounds so crazy when I say it, but it's really that way. Getting to know my cycle, it was the beginning for stepping into womanhood, and it also allowed me to accept myself just the way I am, accept the nature that God gave me. He made me this way, He made my body work this way. And as a grown woman, as I told earlier, you need to know yourself. That's a non-negotiable. And I don't say like know yourself overnight. No, knowing yourself, I think it's a lifelong process, because we are always changing, evolving. Even our hormones will change when we get older, right? But I think if you take away one thing, then please take away that you really get to know yourself with all your facets. Don't let others dictate you, who you are, what you should eat, how you should work out, how often you should work out, but rather whenever you hear someone talk, get inspired, but don't be put under pressure to be a certain way, because that woman is really what you make out of it. Rather ask yourself, what is my standard for myself? What do I want to cultivate in my life growing into that woman? How do I want my life to look and feel like? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to represent? How can I honor God with what I am doing, with what I am eating, with how I am moving? And so I think I didn't even say my name, But yeah, hi, I'm Jovana. Now it's at the end. Anyways, I'm really happy to see you another time talking about all things female, all things about the cycle. Let me know what you want to see and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.